Right here, down. Protect your out. We put the work in. Let's finish. Come on, man. Let's do this. Family, I'll do 1, 2, 3.
You see, we dream chase, because that's all we was given to start with. Then we realized the dream was obtainable. Now look at us.
What's going on, Eagles Nation and TMTP family? Welcome back to another episode here on the Main Thing Podcast Presents. It's your boy, Mr. Owens. And after further review, the call stands. I'm still official with no stripes.
What's happening, Eagles family? This is your man, Big Hus, the one you trust, bringing you all your Philadelphia Eagles latest. Now, as you know, it's the holiday week. I hope everyone had an amazing Thanksgiving. For those who didn't celebrate, still had an amazing holiday and enjoyed your time off. Obviously, our videos are coming out a little off schedule this week, but nonetheless, the work has to get done. We got to keep the main thing. So here we are. Hey, Dallas game. What did we just see out there this past weekend? At one point, looking like the best team in the world. Second half, looking like a team that I just couldn't even recognize. We had an opportunity to lock up the NFC East last week, silence the critics, put the division to bed before December even started. Instead, we played with our food. One of the craziest collapses, honestly, I could truly say under the Nick Sirianni era that we've seen. A game where once again we were unstoppable. That first half, I'm over here looking at my fingers like, oh, this is what we're talking about, baby. You feel me? Second half, it was just what the hell? All right. 21-0 lead gone. Chance to bury the Cowboys gone. Momentum, discipline, coaching, execution, you name it, gone. Right? But look, we're going to break down everything, how we do, honest, entertaining, the real. But before we jump into this disastrous loss, Mr. Holmes wants to holler at y'all real quick.
Boy, oh boy, it was crazy. Big Hus with this, like you said, the tale of two halves. But look, nonetheless, to our loyal supporters, thank you. Y'all know it's all love. The Main Thing Podcast Presents can't happen without the support from y'all. And to our new supporters, welcome to the community and our family. Look, let's continue to do our part for the community and our family. Please continue to like the videos. It does help with the visibility in the algorithm. Disrespect that comment section. Don't play with it. Go ahead, disrespect that. Share and subscribe to the community and our content. And last but not least, you don't want to forget to do this. Make sure to turn on them noties and keep your ears and eyes peeled to the streets like your local neighborhood watch, so you don't miss when me and Big Hus drop this pressure on y'all.
You heard them. Go ahead and do that. So let's jump right into it, man, for real. Let's talk the hot start. Started off, look, those first 20 minutes, unbelievable. Super Bowl champion. It was the standard, right?
Yes.
This was straight domination, honestly. Probably the best version of the Eagles that we've seen all year. Jalen Hurts was in full command, 27 of 39 passing, 289 yards, a passing touchdown, 2 rushing touchdowns. A.J. Brown, what did he say? 1K always open. He was always open in that first half. He had 8 catches, 110 yards, a tutty, right? Slim Reaper doing what he's been doing all year, to be honest. 6 catches, 89 yards, had a beautiful 41-yard grab.
Man.
All he had to really make an adjustment on. It was a great catch by him. But this is what we expect from the Heisman, former Heisman winner, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Eagles' first 3 drives, touchdown. 196 yards of offense right out the gate. Like, we were looking in form, right? I'm like, okay, we found it, right?
I got our mojo back.
There you go, right? Straight up. Defensively, look, the Eagles held Dallas scoreless for the first quarter, forced 2 turnovers, bottled up CD, made that very uncomfortable. Then with about 5 minutes and 32 seconds left in the second quarter, Reed, very timely interception in the red zone, stopping a promising Dallas drive, right?
Mm-hmm.
At that point, ESPN gave the Eagles a 96% chance to win the game. We in our bag. We can't F this up. 96%. That's damn near a guarantee, right? Game should have been over. But instead, that was really the turning point of the game. The rest of the game, it just became a masterclass at how to throw a game away. It truly went from, like you said, the tale of two halves. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Like, what's going on here? Bonkers.
Bananas, Huss. This
Bananas.
B-A-N-A-N-A-S. This, you feel me? Like, yo, man, come on now. Look, man, just as Huss said in the first half, we look like we were playing the best brand of complete football this entire season. But it's just as Huss mentioned, and I mentioned, it started to spiral out of control. And this is where the great undoing happened. Of course, as we all know, the offense completely shut down and went stale in the second half. After going up 21-0, y'all, the Eagles produced the following on their next 8 drives. I don't know if I seen this in a Nick Sirianni era before. I can probably say back in the Chip Kelly era, we have saw some stuff like this.
For sure.
But this drive stats, diabolical, okay? So first off, we're going to start with 3 plays, -2 yards, punt. 1 play, end of the half. We get it. We got to go to the halftime. We were up 21-7, right? 3 plays, 3 yards, punt. Next, 6 plays, 18 yards, punt. Next, 3 plays, 7 yards, punt. 7 plays, 30 yards, missed 56-yard field goal. 6 plays, 33 yards, fumble. 5 plays, 17 yards, punt. What's the common denominator out of all those drives, right? You ain't got to be a rocket scientist to understand. It was nothing but punts. Braden Mann was getting his workout all day, every day at AT&T Stadium. I don't even know if I have ever seen Braden Mann come out the many times to punt the football. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages. But now we do some simple arithmetic and we tally up all those yards the minuscule amount of yards that we've told you. That's 107 yards over 41 minutes and 32 seconds of football. We all know it's only 60 minutes in a football game, okay? So about 3/4 of the game, we weren't doing nothing. We only mustered up 107 yards. And with all that being said, that's against the 30th ranked defense in football. We all know it's only 32 teams in this beautiful game, okay? We did that against the 30th ranked defense, all right? It wasn't about talent. This wasn't about the Cowboys scheme. This was coaching. It was coaching malpractice on our part in Philadelphia, all right? Nick Sirianni coached scared and complacent. He got very, very conservative with us being up 21-0. We had no sense of urgency. We didn't have any aggression to continue to put our foot on the throats of the Dallas Cowboys. We had no creativity. After we saw in the first quarter, second quarter, how Kevin Patullo and Nick Sirianni, they were trying to mix up some things, get DeVonta Smith in motion and all that type of stuff. We saw some creativity. But then when the rubber needed to meet the road, it wasn't touching, okay? Because that creativity just disappeared into thin air, all right? No finishing instinct, as I mentioned. When we got them down, keep them down. Take their soul, take their heart. That's what we didn't do. This team stopped trying to win the game. And of course, over these past few weeks, where did it go back to? Trying not to lose it, playing too conservatively, allowing the defense to take care of the offensive deficiencies, okay? And when you play that way in Dallas, we all know Dallas and how those type of games come out. You do get burned, all right? So this is a learning lesson. This is a growth lesson, but this is something that we have to get corrected in a quick, fast, and hurry, man.
Absolutely. The offense has to kick it into gear. And for me, it all boils down to staying aggressive and being creative.
Yes.
We scored those first 21 points because we were aggressive, and you can tell, right? We dialed it back. And when we dialed it back, it just opened the doors up for the Dallas Cowboys. Right. And I know that, especially during this Nick Sirianni era, in the second half when we're up, a lot of times we like to milk the clock. And I get that. But there's still an aggressive way of going about doing that, right? Not totally condensing the playbook and just playing conservative ball. And that's kind of what it seemed like. And it was to our detriment in this game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then, as the offense stalls out, the defense straight imploded. Dak Prescott, look, he didn't play well. He became a surgeon in that second half. I'm not even going to lie to you. Finishing 23 of 36 with his passes, 354 yards, 3 completions of plus 40 yards, a 43-yard bomb to CD, which honestly could have been offensive pass interference. Should have been called, but we're not going to talk about that. 473 total yards by Dallas, a season high allowed by Philly. Crazy. You were up 21-0 at one point. How does this happen? But the star of the show, it wasn't Dak. George Pickens started giving us the blues, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not even going to lie to you. Hauling in 9 grabs, 146 yards, right? Wide open all night. And possibly still might be running wild all through AT&T. He was on a tear. I'm not going to lie. He was on a tear, really exposing Cooper DeJean at certain points, but the dagger came with under a minute left. Pickens runs a simple slant. Michael Carter collides with Q. Pickens walks free for 24 yards. Dallas tips the game-winning field goal from the Eagles 22. And look, it was murder she wrote at that point. It was over, right? But on top of the collapse, the secondary took hit after hit after hit in this game. Reed Blankenship, who at one point had 8 tackles in this game, a PBU, a timely interception, left with an injury. And in that absence of Reed was very much notable, right? Then you had rookie Drew Mukuba, fractured his ankle, kind of got rolled up a little bit, kind of got it caught. I don't want to say he's out for the rest of the season because he just had surgery. They said it went well, but he's going to miss some time. We probably won't see him till close to the playoffs. Mm-hmm. Let's just be real, right? Mm-hmm. Cooper DeJean, we love Coop. I think he's an amazing slot player, can be a very decent safety, but when you put him outside and he had to cover Pickens, look, it wasn't good. I'll just put it like that. It wasn't good, right? Adoree Jackson, when he was in, he was actually fairly decent, but the one thing that we noticed with Adoree seems to be injury prone, and he came up gimping that game, forcing Cooper to move outside, and from then, the defense kind of just got exposed, right? Threw Keely Ringo in there. He gets flagged for a PI. Wasn't new with that. The Eagles now, at that point, had one healthy safety on the roster. That was Sidney Brown. And as much as we love Sidney, he's not there yet, right? So, in some regards, you could say there was a fire alarm going on. It was just we were scrambling. Everybody's looking around. What do we do? What do we do next? We had no answers. One thing we have to do this year, we have to get healthy. Philadelphia, especially during this Nick Sirianni era, I can say for the most part, we've been a fairly healthy team.
Yes.
This year, on both sides of the ball, we are coming up, nicked up left and right. We have to somehow find a way to beat this adversity because it's coming up big. And I think some of the injuries that we had on the back end really led to the collapse of this defense, because we didn't really sack Dak Prescott a lot in this game. There were some pressures. He was moving, but if you're not getting home, your back end's gimpy, it doesn't bode well for the defense. It's just, I don't know. It didn't play out well, obviously. And we got to get healthy.
Yes.
We got to get healthy. I'll just put it like that.
Yes, we definitely have to get healthy because, and what do we always say here on the Main Thing podcast, big bro? The front end works with the back end, bro. So as you mentioned, to add to your point, the front wasn't getting home. We were getting pressures, not getting Dak down to the ground. But that allows the defense, the back end, to have to cover longer. Okay, and we don't want to call ticky-tacks and all that type of stuff, but it was a couple little things going on in the trenches and the line of scrimmage where it was kind of a little fishy. All right, look, I'm not gonna cap to y'all. We're here on the Main Thing Podcast Presents. We don't blame the refs. All right, that's one thing we don't do. We play football majority of our lives. You always remove the refs. You take care of business, so you don't have to rely or have the refs do anything that hinders or sways us to lose. But Dallas up front, we're getting away with a lot of things, but now we got the good, the bad, and the downright disrespectful right now. So the good, we had a goal line stand late in the fourth quarter. Obviously, after some unfortunate instances, our defense did a great job of keeping Dallas out of the end zone. Braden Mann was absolutely dropping bombs and at the 8, the 4, and 11-yard line, pinning Dallas's offense in the red zone area. Well, in their red zone area. Nolan Smith, Bradman, Jalen Carter, Nakobe Dean all flashed. Reed, as Big Huss mentioned, his end zone interception was chef's kiss. Brown, Arthur, Juan, K, and DeVonta Slim Reaper Smith again were dominating early, and then that 21 opening burst felt like true contender football. Then let's switch over to the bag, right? I've seen this gentleman make this play 10 out of 10 times. Actually, one of the best coverage linebackers in pass coverage, but it really hurt when Zach Billboard Bond dropped the interception. He read the route perfectly, sank, dropped underneath the route. Dak threw him a gift. He said, look, I know Christmas ain't for another few weeks, but might as well, let me go ahead and give you a gift. Bond drops underneath, bow, gets his hand on the football, dropped interception. Could have swung the momentum in our favor very, very big. Look, we had 5 penalties in the first half. Look, spoiler alert, it got worse, okay? Fred Johnson with 2 brutal mistakes. Obviously, we know that he's filling in for Lane Johnson at right tackle with Lane being injured. And then to top it off, the Eagles had 42 passing yards in a quarter. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, that is 4 first downs. You're telling me with the most expensive offense in the business, we only mustered up 42 yards in a quarter, 15 minutes, 15-minute quarters. We have to do better. But again, that goes back to being conservative. That goes back to not playing to lose. Kevin Patullo was giving the keys to a Lambo when he just got his learner's permit. I don't understand what is going on here, okay? But now, like I said, now we get to the downright disrespectful. Y'all thought that was bad. Oh, trust me, it gets worse, all right? This is where the laundry list gets super, super long. We had a season high. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7, not 8, not 9, not 10, not 11, not 12, not 13, because we had 14 penalties for 96 yards. 14. Now, for us being a defending Super Bowl champion, I don't expect us to have those many penalties. You can expect that from teams like the Raiders, the Browns, the Titans, teams of that nature to have 14 penalties because they're undisciplined. We have a lot of superstar power on this team where they know that when you lose the penalty battle and turnover battle, you more than likely will lose the game. I had to do some research because this tied the most amount of penalties in a Nick Sirianni era. The last time we had 14 penalties was the first week, and when we played Atlanta in his first season here with the Philadelphia Eagles. In his first year. I believe Nick Sirianni's going into this is his 5th season.
Yep.
So you wait until year 5. Did you be like, oh, you know what? Here, let me just go ahead and tie what I did in the first game that that him and QB1 ever played with each other. Okay, 14 penalties. That is an issue. You cannot win football games like that. That is not the ingredients to be a successful and dominating team that I know that we can be. On top of that, we had a DeVonta Slim Reaper Smith OPI plus Arthur Juan K. Falls starting, killing a drive. Those are boneheaded decisions from two of our best players. Okay. Now, the missed 56-yard field goal from Jake Elliott. He was being reliable these past few weeks, but that really hurt us because the offense just simply stopped attacking. So we had to force Jake Elliott to kick this field goal. Me personally, watching the game and how the momentum was going, I thought we were going to go for it. I believe it was a 4th and 5 or 4th and 6. I thought we were going to go for it, especially when we know that when Jake starts to get 50 and back, he kind of is iffy with those 50-plus yard field goals. So I thought that even though our offense hasn't been the best this season, we have these dogs on our offense where we should be able to convert 4th and 5 and 4th and 6. Every time I watch some other teams, they be having 4th and 12, 4th and 15, and convert it like it's nobody's business. We want some too. We want to show us the yams, show us where we want that. You see what I'm saying? But now QB1 took a 13-yard sack on 3rd and 2. When we're supposed to throw the football, we run the football. When we're supposed to run the football, we throw the football. It's backwards. This was a play where I thought we were going to run the football. Okay, we know that, okay, even if we don't get the first down, what do we have in our back pocket? We always have our brotherly shove, our tush push, right? But instead, we try to throw the football. And what happens? We take the 13-yard sack. Now that puts us way behind the sticks, something that was not needed. Okay, giving up 21 unanswered points is simply disrespectful, especially with the caliber of team that we have. We have to do a better job and play as a collective. Okay, we giving up explosive plays of 48 yards. 2 48-yarders and 43, as Big Hus mentioned earlier. That's not the type of ball that Vic Fangio wants to play. We always stay the deepest of the deep. Do not let anybody get behind you. And the fact that we allowed CD, George Pickens, to get behind us, we have to correct this, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages. Then the aforementioned Andrew Mukuba, not only did he get injured, he got ran over on the goal line. You see what I'm saying? This is something where it's confusing because it's like we know him to be a big hitter, but when he came down, he wasn't ready for that. He ain't bring his pads with him. All right, look, he got a little nervous.
Put on a little bit of weight. Yeah, he got to put on a little weight.
He gonna have to. My man was featherweight trying to go against heavyweight. That ain't gonna work. All right, this is not what we about to do here. Okay. But I ain't gonna beat Andrew Mukuba down because he's injured. So I'm gonna give you a little grace. But you still, like I said, put on a little weight, bro. Protein shakes, all right? Get all the protein you can get, all right? But then Michael Carter second, the newly acquired DB from the New York Jets. We saw it develop right in front of our eyes because I forgot who motioned over, but he was following the motion man, and he was a little bit behind the motion man. And for that, he wasn't in position. And so Dak noticed that. And Dak is a veteran. Dak has been in the league, 10 years? I want to say now? 9, 10 years?
Like yeah.
I believe he was drafted in 2016. Yeah. So he's seen a lot of football. We've seen a lot of defenses. When he saw that Michael Carter II was out of position, he went ahead and snapped that ball because he knew that when Michael Carter was trying to get around and go through the traffic, that he had a slant on that backside, and Quinyon was going to run into Michael Carter II, which opened up that big play to George Pickens, man. But that is communication. That is understanding your assignment, your responsibility. We have to be better. This just wasn't one issue, all right? This was a total collapse from coaching, discipline, communication, and execution. All phases have to look themselves in the mirror and get better, man.
Absolutely. Spot on. You talked about the Jalen Hurts sack. In that moment, bro, you know you can't take that sack, bro. You have to throw it away.
Yes.
Even if you throw it away and it's a 4th and 2, like I said, what do we got in our back pocket? The tush push. That's always our ace in the hole. So we got to keep it manageable. It's just that was a costly sack. Yeah, I mean, in an uncostly time. Now, penalties, conversions, stats. Let's talk about it. Right, the raw data kind of tells the story of how this game went. We'll start with 3rd and 4th down conversions for the Eagles. 3rd down, 3 of 10. That's simple math. 30%. Not gonna cut it.
No.
When we talk about our Eagles defense, we want our Eagles defense to keep teams at 30% and below, right? But as far as our offense, like you said, one of the highest paid or most expensive offenses in the league. 3 for 10 on 3rd down, not gonna cut it. You know where we go for it on 4th down a lot. 0 for 1 in 4th down in this game. If we're gonna go for it, we have to convert, right? High risk, high reward.
Yes.
And more times than not, we do. But here lately this season, our conversion rate on 4th down has dropped significantly from what it was. Now, the Cowboys on 3rd and 4th down, 7 of 13, that's 54%. If I'm a Cowboys fan, I'm loving that. But this is the Eagles channel, right? That's terrible. That is terrible. 50%. Can't have it. They were 1 for 2 on 4th down, so they're 50% there as well. Got to change it. That's literally the game right there, right? Then Mr. Owens already spoke about penalties. 14 penalties. Will round it up for 100 yards. 100 yards worth of penalties.
That's a football field, huh? Like, what are we doing here, bro?
You just gave up a drive in penalties. Just give them points. You literally just gave up points. That's 100 yards in penalties.
Oh my God.
Right? And the penalties are always at the worst times, right? But all the same, 14 penalties is a lot. And this is something that we've been talking about damn near since week 1. The mental errors have to be cleaned up. And I can't even just put it on backup players. We had some of our main guys, right? AJ Brown, he false starting. Some of the main guys out here committing penalties when we need everybody to be laser focused. We have to clean up the penalties. I'm telling you all now, if we're talking about hoisting Lombardi, this isn't the way you do it, right? The Cowboys penalties, it doesn't matter because Philly truly beat themselves.
And if I can interject real quick, my bad. Look, so with the 14 penalties, a lot of them were warranted on our team. I get it. But also the one that you mentioned earlier with CD, where they called it on Coop when he mushed him 2 times in a face mask. That was the same call that was called in the Super Bowl when AJ Brown did that to Trent McDuffie. They called an offensive PI on us. And then as well, that was a big momentum shift. Another momentum shift that I felt it wasn't a penalty that wasn't called for us was when Cavante Turpin sat in the hole. He ran like 5 yards and sat in the zone, and they missed the tackle on Jalen Phillips on the edge, and then Tyler Booker or what is his name? Tyler Guyton. I'm sorry, Tyler Guyton. Was holding on to Nolan Smith. I'm like, dude, y'all are missing. It's blatant, but those are 2 big momentum killers that didn't swing our way.
No, absolutely. You're spot on. But once again, I'm looking at it from a perspective of you got to expect that when you go to Jerry's World. We're getting no calls in Jerry's World.
Yes.
Right? That's why most times, if you know, as Eagles, we split with the Cowboys 1-1 because you're going to win the one at home. You're going to go down to Jerry's World. You're going to get the shaft, and more like you're going to catch the L. But the Eagles must know it doesn't matter where we go. 8 times out of 10, you're not getting those calls.
Right.
So as players, as coaches, you got to be in the best positions and put your players in the best positions to succeed because you're fighting 2 battles. You're fighting your opponent, and more than likely, I hate to say it, but you're fighting the league. Right? So you got to expect that. Right? Even if this was 7 penalties, I'd be like, yeah, you expect it. 14 is outrageous. I can't put that all on the refs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then once again, you talk total yards. The Cowboys have 400, damn near 500 yards, 473 yards of total offense. Madness. We had 300. We can't continue to get outgained in yardage every game. We're talking about we're trying to win. The offense has to give us more. It has to help the defense out. The whole 473 yards, yes, a lot of that you're going to put on the defense, but damn, the defense was out there a lot. When you're talking about you go punt, miss field goal, fumble, punt. That means your defense is playing a lot of football. You can't win with your defense on the field 3/4 of the game. They got to get some water too. I want to sit out. My legs a little tired.
Let me get on the bike. Exercise
You
bike.
feel me? Like, come on. We cannot continue to get outgained week to week by these offenses. Our offense has to pick it up, and then turnovers. For the most part, turnovers, that's really been our saving grace and why we stayed in a lot of these games. And one of a lot of these things, we haven't been turning it over a lot. But we turned it over twice this game. We got one, like I said, the red zone interception by Reed Blankenship. Amazing play by Reed, baiting them. Reed doing what Reed does, right? I expect that from one of the exciting whites. But you go up there, we're fumbling it. Saquon, Gibson getting clapped up, fumble. What are we doing? Ball security, ball security, ball security at all times. You're never going to win a game if you're losing a turnover battle. We got to get back to basics in a lot of ways, offensively, defensively, the whole team, and tighten up. And then when we do force these turnovers, we got to do something with them. You can't have the Cowboys march the field. You stop them. You get the ball back. We run around. Go ahead, Reed. Do your thing, boy, right? Offense goes out there. You're expecting them then to continue with this momentum and give you something. We come up goose egg. We have to capitalize on opportunities. But we also have to continue to put ourselves in the best positions to win. And that's everybody. Players, coaches, all the way around. This shit needs to tighten up because the standard is the standard. In this game, we were not living up to it.
No, not at all, Big Us. We were far from our standard and the brand of football that we want to play. All right. But to add on to your point, bro, with Gibson, I don't know. That was the most boneheaded decision that I ever think I've seen in football, bro. Like, dude, you know how the game is going. They always tell you as a punt returner, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, if you've never played punt returner, all right, they always tell you, coaches say, put your heels on the 10-yard line, all right? Remember this from Little League, okay? Put your heels on the 10-yard line. If the ball is going to go over your head, let it go into the end zone. If you can field it, instead of letting it bounce off the ground in front of you, field it. But if it's going to sail, let it go in the end zone. What happens when it goes in the end zone? Oh, we get a touchback. And so now the ball comes out to the 25, right? Instead, Gibson does what? Fills it at the 1-yard line, bro. What are you doing? Bro, I swear, bro, when I seen him catch it, I said, yo, this is not about to end up well, bro. This is not. Then he starts running right, gets tripped up. I'm tripping, I'm falling, I can't get up. Bang, get smacked, ball pops out. That is the type of stuff that cannot happen, okay? Gibson, okay. So, to the standings, seeding, and the road ahead for our Philadelphia Eagles, all right? The Eagles fall to 8-3 with that loss to the Dallas Cowboys, losing control of the number 1 seed in the NFC after the Rams took care of business. So now, our remaining schedule is as follows. We have the Bears on today, Black Friday, at the Chargers versus the Raiders, at the Commanders, at the Bills versus the Commanders. Not a gauntlet, but this is the 9th easiest remaining strength of schedule, right? As I mentioned, it's not a gauntlet, but if we play how we played in Dallas, you can get beat by a few of these teams, okay? So now let's switch over to the Rams' strength of schedule. Remaining schedule. They have at the Panthers, at the Cardinals, versus the Lions, at the Seahawks, at the Falcons, and versus the Cardinals. They have the 12th easiest schedule, okay? So don't get all up in arms. We can still get the number 1 seed, but this is what we need to do. We need the Rams to lose, and then we just got to take care of business and finish our food the rest of our season, man. We can't keep letting games and, teams that we're supposed to beat us, okay? So week 13, this Black Friday game versus Chicago, it's now a massive tiebreaker game. We've been having this a little allegiance with the Chicago Bears. They've been beating everybody at NFC East. We've been beating everybody at NFC North. But now it's going to come to a head today. Okay, that allegiance is over. Okay, this is what's going to happen. All right. So with the secondary gutted, Vic Fangio is basically, man, he went to Lowe's, got some duct tape. You see what I'm saying? Trying to wrap this up, playing with some rookies, and a prayer, man. We have to figure out how to play 60 minutes of football with all three phases, including the coaching staff. We have to continue playing aggressive and stop being conservative. Bad things happen when you continue playing conservative. When you have an opponent down, you put them down. That's one thing that I noticed when the Rams were playing. Who were they just playing last week? I forgot who the Rams were playing last week.
The dog mess out of somebody last week.
I forgot who it was. But the Rams, where they differ is Sean McVay. He stays aggressive. When you're down, he keeps you down. They were up 21-0 as well. And what happened? They end up blowing whatever team they played out. That is the difference with a season. The Saints. Thank you.
34-10.
Crazy work. And you see how that's the difference of a season play caller.
Well, I'm sorry, not the Saints. The Buccaneers beat them 34-7. Apologies.
Okay, Buccaneers 34-7. And we know the Bucks. Even though the Bucks are going through some injuries and things like that, they're not a bad team. They're in the playoff hunt as we speak. But you see how they beat a quality opponent because they kept their foot on their necks and they kept being aggressive, as opposed to, oh, well, we're up 21-0. Our team is that good where we could just take our foot off the gas and we win. No, it doesn't work like that. Okay, so we got to just make sure, as I said, play as a collective, play as a group, and we'll be fine.
No, absolutely. I agree. And it's all, like you said, playing as a collective, playing as a group, and really eliminating the mental errors.
Yes.
Right? But if we could do that, like I said, the talent's there. Right? But this loss hurts because it exposed everything that Philly was trying to hide. As I said, the talent is there, the firepower is there. Discipline, mental errors, the coaching, staying aggressive and locked in on what's going on, and the killer instinct of this team, it has to show up now. It can't, as we've been asking for all year, it can't be the first half we see Super Bowl champions. The second half, we're looking like one of the worst teams in the NFL, right? No more excuses, no more playing scared or playing not to lose, no more letting inferior teams hang around, because the Cowboys, although be it a rival, is an inferior team.
Yes.
Right? It's time to keep the main thing, and start playing to the standard of Philly ball. Tough discipline together. That needs to show up now. From players to coaches to everybody. If you're trying to achieve the goal that we set out to achieve, and it's still on the table, even after the few losses that we've taken, it's still there. You gotta lock in and start building those habits. You can't just turn it on and turn it off when the playoffs come. Build those habits now.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, man. So this chapter came and went. We got to close this chapter and start a new chapter today. But man, look, to our loyal supporters, thank you. Y'all know it's all love. The Main Thing Podcast presents can't happen without the support from y'all. And to our new supporters, welcome to the community and our family. Look, let's continue to do our part as a community and for the family. Please continue to like the videos. It does help with the visibility in the algorithm. Disrespect that comment section, share, and subscribe to the community and our content. And last but not least, don't forget to do this. Make sure to turn on that notification bell, also known as the Liberty Bell looking thingy, so you don't miss when me and Big Hus drop this pressure on y'all.
You already know the vibes, man. Lock in. There's nothing but fire this way. Eagles talk all day, every day. You know what's up. Now, Bears preview was coming up, so be on the lookout for that. But you know what it is, man. If you don't know, I go by Big Hus.
And I go by Mr. Owns.
And this is the Main Thing Podcast, where we keep the main thing the main thing. Hey, man, have a great week. Have a blessed holiday. This flag was fly till we die, man. Until next time, we out.
It was I was gonna make a lot of money doing what I wanted to do. I went after it, and it was a struggle to achieve it. But you know what? I caught that bitch. Dream chasing.